Yep.
Okay, so this last one is our pretty much we got a bread and butter discussion here for us because Corey and I both actually have time in a specific helicopter, which is the R-44 and the R-22. These are Robinson helicopters. They were created as basically entry-level helicopters, piston variants, meaning that they're powered by either a six piston, normally aspirated, air-cooled engine, or a four-cylinder, normally aspirated, air-cooled engine. Okay? They're of a fairly basic design, and these things have been in and out of the training markets and in the personal, I guess, transportation markets for a long time. Basically, the very same places that the eVTOL market wants to crack its nut on,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Problem is, these are also a set of and series of helicopters that require what's called by the FAA terms an SFAR. An SFAR basically saying that you actually have to be trained in how to fly this particular brand of helicopter because there is a dangerous type of flight regime, otherwise known as a hard pushover or a low G maneuver, that will actually get the main rotor mast and the blades to contact each other at a severity point that would actually jettison the main rotors from the aircraft. And I kid you not on this, it exists. Okay?
Yeah.
So, as a workaround, they have created what's called the R66 helicopter. And the R66 helicopter is their entry into the turbine, the turbine small, light helicopter marketplace.
Turbine light single.
Market. Yeah, perfect. So that lays the groundwork for it. You can now fly it by an iPad. So they have teamed up with a company called Skyryse, out of all things. And Skyryse has really gone the extra mile. And this team has designed a simplistic system that literally incorporates two iPads into the actual aircraft. It goes beyond fly-by-wire. It is literally fly-by-iPad. It's called FlightOS. And of all things, what they did to prove that this technology was both had the ability to do it and be successful, they put a movie star in front of the controls, which we're trying to question why it's this particular movie star, but we're going to play this one straight out for you guys so you can hear it, see it in their own. This is released from Skyryse's own YouTube page, so we can take a look at it right here. This is Jon Hamm flying a helicopter using nothing but an iPad. So take a look, take a listen, check this out. Here you go.
But it is pretty amazing, right? A half hour in the simulator and you're like flying a helicopter.
Who did your plans?
This is our primary test vehicle. You'll experience the ability to fly the aircraft with just gestures.
Whoa. So if I hit select on vertical and put in 1,200 feet, it would climb to 1,200
It'll
feet.
go to 1,200 feet.
It's very intuitive.
So have you flown before?
I did a movie, you're in the back, you're in a Huey, you're basically on a flatbed. I was looking over the front of the thing because I was feeling it, and I look back and the other 9 guys in the thing were like fully white knuckling it.
All right, my friend, we're ready to go. Let's pick it up and do a hover. Now it's all you, man.
You're looking at the screen less when you're in real life.
Let's climb up to 700. Look at that, using all of the toys.
All the tech. I had no idea what this was going to be.
Yeah.
I just can't get over how freakishly intuitive it is.
Looks beautiful, dude. Bring the speed back to like 10. All right, now set us down. Really good job, dude.
Kind of never gets old, does
it? Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, a couple other things that I just want to throw out there before we get into any other details about it. This comes direct from the company website, which basically says, no uncertain terms, it says that this thing is going to go beyond fly-by-wire. It is going to dramatically simplify the onboard flight experience. Lastly, it says that it's an active envelope protection system. The system integrates with fly-by-wire technology and is designed to deliver a commercial airline level safety to all aircraft. The aircraft is able to conduct analysis, and it actually goes through a split-second adjustment and needed to keep the aircraft within safe flight parameters as they complete their journey or mission. And then lastly, it says that it's always in control, that this system is always operational through every phase of flight, even during a situational hazard. Our system is designed to never go offline, including during emergencies. Corey, I hand the controls to you. You have the controls. What's your thoughts on that?
I have the controls.
And we've said that before in an actual aircraft many times. So go ahead. You have the controls.
I have the controls. Yes. So, okay. So, I think first off, I'll say if you're following aviation and automation in aviation, and I guess I'll go towards pure automation. It's not new, right? We have other companies doing. You can see like even like K-Max even has one that's an automated aircraft where it flies cargo from one place to another with no pilot, completely no pilot on board. The thing I think maybe first to point out, just on my own 2 cents here, is this on Skyryse itself literally says they are targeting, at least for now, what they're saying is the GA or general aviation market, because it says also that they partner with 5 OEMs or five companies making helicopters that are going to use this FlightOS product. Only one of which we know is Robinson. I couldn't find the other 4, but nevertheless, they go on to say that basically between those 5, that's half of the aircraft, the new GA aircraft. So I guess with that, maybe with that being said, they didn't say helicopter specific, but point being, they're going after GA, which is interesting. I also was asking Mike before the show started. I was like, why would they initially partner with Robinson? And I'm just curious. Like, why would you hit Robinson up first? And I guess again, it's maybe the GA thing, right? If you're talking about GA market, at least in helicopters, a lot of Robinsons are used for GA ops, but they also sometimes, you'll have a helicopter that's GA, but also maybe they'll use it for some commercial stuff as well. Because actually, also, if you go down a bit, they also mentioned that they also are looking at for, what did I say? Our technology will usher in a new era of mobility from fighting fires in remote areas to relieving traffic in crowded cities. So there's also some transportation there, maybe for personal or whatever, but also actually some work being done with fighting fires, which is a very non-scripted. I mean, I don't mean to say that because it's certainly got maneuvers and certain ways you do stuff, but I guess I'm saying you don't fly from A to B with you got a fire. You have to go find the fire. You have to figure out where the wind is. Things it's not cookie cutter, I guess. So I guess so that there's that too.
Can I add something at that?
And
one of the things that I think that's critical to that is that all their other competitors right now for the Robinson marketplace, they do not require that the aircraft be flown with a certain amount of hour requirement. And that means that the R44 and the R22 both had a minimum hour requirement of 50 hours in the aircraft before you could do certain things. The R66 escaped that clause. Okay, and the fact that it was escaped means that this is probably one of Robinson's moves to include this in their aircraft to keep their R66, as their market share grows, out of the SFAR category, to keep it on par with operators like the Bell 505, the 206, which is the older Bell model, and a few other of the light helicopters out there, light turbines. So there is a strategic move there, but it also aligns itself perfectly with the air mobility markets moving forward because, like Corey said, for commercial operations, having one pilot on board with the simplicity of alleviating his workload for a long duration of his workload day would be a massive savings. And also, if you want to put a second operator in there and having to actually not train them as much and go through less training, this works. So then I hand it back to Corey.
Yeah. I think that's some of the important points to make is, just like as Mike was saying, there's a SFAR, special FAR you have to comply with to touch the controls or be PIC of certain Robinson aircraft. And, as you mentioned, the R66 escapes that, doesn't apply to that. So it is probably a business move as well for Skyryse to try to get in there and help with that market segment. But also I think, just as you mentioned a second ago, if you got somebody you need to maybe be on the aircraft with a fully certified pilot, at least for now, with regs and whatever, fully certified pilot, and have somebody else that could offload some of the workload for straight and level, basic navigation, while he does something else. Because, I mean, if you've operated an aircraft, you'll know obviously there's a lot of other stuff you do besides just to move around the controls. You gotta do some basic navigation. You gotta, of course, talk on the radio. This thing obviously doesn't do any of that for you. We know there's other things going on in the GA system and in other aviation where you can maybe not even have to use the radio as much. That's
Future.
happening on bigger aircraft too, but we're not totally there yet for GA, of course. So, but nevertheless, it's an interesting thing to see. Definitely something to keep track of. I'm wondering where it will go. And actually, it implies. I mean, it doesn't imply, but it kind of seems like the way it's worded, it seems that Robinson's basically going to integrate the avionics into the 66, meaning like it's kind of gonna be in the aircraft, like it's part of the maybe it'll be a different package. I don't know exactly, but it's something interesting to see. I wonder. Well, my next chain of thought is I wonder what the FAA thinks about it as far as logging time.
Don't know.
And liabilities, things like that. And then,
I have a
of course,
hypothesis.
And then I'll pass it here in a second. But I just want to say at the bottom, it also mentions that they do have 2 advisors from Skyryse, 2 advisors, one from the FAA, former head Mike Herta, and then of course the former NTSB safety chairman. They're both on Skyryse's advisory board too. So they've got the people on call to answer those questions for them.
They do.
So I'm sure we'll be able to get some of those as well soon. So, I mean, what do you think?
I think that's exactly the point. So these guys have the inroads to the fact that they understand that this infrastructure may not exist right now, but they're the 2 people that know the ins and outs of both the NTSB and the FAA to get this done. Now, the fact that they made this announcement now means that they are positioning themselves to be ready to capture the marketplace at a level of pre-approved aircraft, meaning these aircraft that these other manufacturers that they're going after, okay, already have pre-approved airframes, and now they're simply going to get, probably a special type certificate to operate them under this particular system, because they are laying the groundwork for a testbed system that, if they become the widely accepted system that other people become familiar with, that they would make that transition easily into selling themselves to other air mobility aircraft operators or VTOL aircraft manufacturers. That way they could simplify a lot of the different things like training regimes, expected flight routines, integration between other systems, and tying in possibly ADSB, which is their higher form of GPS navigation and coordination with other air traffic zones and maybe noise abatement zones and arrivals, putting that all together into one nice unique package. And they go to them and say, look, by the way, we've already taken 5 GA aircraft that have all had different flight regimes and incorporated into this very same system, and we're proving that it's safe. The fact that these 2 guys have broken out to go with that particular group of people means that they see the promise in making very quick inroads, which means urban air mobility probably just got a little bit closer to being a reality in some aspects. Other players that I see that would come in and possibly buy a company like this, Honeywell, Garmin. These guys are a perfect target acquisition in this particular area. Even something as simple as maybe Flight, the fact that it's operating on an iPad, it makes them an acquisition target for that. So
could be interesting. Yeah.
So very interesting. Ooh.
Yeah, it is. This is something to definitely keep track of. I mean, you're just talking about other OEMs, and I'm thinking, what other like burgeoning OEMs would maybe have use for this? And I was thinking, maybe a Hill helicopter would be interested in something like this.
Yeah, that would be another one. Oh, man, that would change their entire structure. Wow.
I mean, imagine, because Hill, you build the helicopter. It's a little more involved for the purchaser, to keep some of the costs down. But then, if it's also reduces pilot requirements to operate such an aircraft. Well, we don't know that yet, of course. I mean, obviously, in this video, there's still a certified pilot on board with Jon, but I don't know. It's something to see if any reg changes or amendments come out of this somehow.
Yeah, I would love to hear what the community feels about this one out there. So let us know in the comments below, because I believe that this is going to be the one that touches a lot of people's sensibilities, especially the helicopter pilot community that has to go through a ton of training. Let's just say this lastly to close out. There's a ton of training that goes into making a helicopter pilot. It's not a 1, 2, 3 situation. And there's a lot of advanced maneuvers that also need to be taught in the essence of safety that need to be gone through in a very specific regime so that a pilot can come out on the other side and be successful as a helicopter pilot. This is a number one of importance. And the fact that they're going to reduce that instruction set down to an iPad app, Okay, maybe insulting to some, or it might be liberating to others. And I want to know what the temperature is out there of other people that find this discussion to be either agitating or to be inviting, is to say that this is what we basically need inside the industry, because the industry also as a whole, and unfortunately Robinson Helicopters, has had in the past some devastating events that have actually made an impact into the safety of the industry. And it's going to take a long time to change that safety culture along the boards. So let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, follow. Let us really want to hear some feedback on this one, because there's so much more under this particular discussion that really needs to be addressed. We couldn't do it it would take us days literally to go through to see all the different things, like how does it handle this safety situation? How does it handle that? So, but we'd like to hear from you guys and what your thoughts are below. So let us know.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's the same thing Mike said. I have some questions to see how it would handle like advanced emergencies, particular phases of flight, certain things happening where a timely reaction is required to actually survive. Low inertia systems. If you guys are pilots out there, I'll take 2 seconds to talk about this. But low inertia systems, complete engine failure where the engine is completely offline. You have to lower the pitch of the blades very quickly. And Robinson R22 is one of the worst culprits on the market. And we're literally talking at certain settings. Literally, you got to lower the collective at 1.5 seconds or something. It's super quick. So, yeah, a lot of outliers and things, but be interested to see how it works.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Okay, somebody just laid a bomb in the comments.